Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is freezing in my room, hence why I'm wrapped up in a blanket. And I feel like it's the perfect setting for my video today. As you guys know, I work for a party princess company and it is the most amazing job in the entire world. I get to go to birthday parties dressed as princesses and sometimes events or meet and greets. It's amazing. It's the best experience in the world. And being a party princess includes many stories. Children say the funniest things and sometimes the weirdest things and the most random things and ask you the most random questions, and that's one of the most fun things is you get to sit and improvise what you're gonna say, improv, and it's so fun, especially as a princess because they believe everything you say. So for today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys some of my stories from being a party princess. I have this book that Mara and Branson gave me for my birthday last year. And it, for the longest time, was sitting and collecting dust and I wasn't sure what to use it for. But I decided to use it as my princess book. I write down all my stories from a kid tells me something, or if a child gives me something as a gift, I put it down and I write down the story about that child, and then I have a sprocket, a little printer that I print out the pictures from the party and I put them in this book, so I will forever remember all of my times with these adorable children. So I'm going to be using my book. It's kind of like a little story time, hence why the blanket is fitting. Okay, so first off, can I just say how adorable? I'm so proud of this page. So proud of this page. So it says Party Princess Stories, and I just have printed out pictures of me as different Disney princesses and then I signed them the way they do in the Disney parks. So like Ariel's is there, Rapunzel's is right there, Princess Aurora's, Belle's, Elsa's, Anna's, and then I've been adding to it. And I filled that page with my princesses so far, the ones that we have in the party. There's a few that I haven't done yet that I need to take pictures for. But until then, I'm going to put those more in the back of the book so that I have more room and space for stories. I had auditioned for this job when, in like September, I had auditioned and we were exposed to COVID. And so I didn't get to go in and do the personal auditions, which I was really upset about. And I sent my boss Mandy a video of me singing and she was like, that's amazing. I would love to hear, like, I'd love to meet you in person just to like get to know your personality and see if you have good movement and everything for the princesses. And so I was like, okay. And then for so many things kept happening and they just like, I didn't end up getting the job right away, and I thought I wasn't gonna get the job at all. And like 3 months passed and she messaged me, she's like, I still want to hear from, like, I'm so sorry that it's been so long, so many things have happened, we haven't gotten any parties, I want to hear you, I want to like see you in action. And so I had given up hope at that point. And then in December, she messaged me and she was doing house visits as Anna and Elsa. And she was like, would you like to do this house visit? And I was like, absolutely. And I had never met her before. And she's like, so we're actually doing a cast Christmas party tonight if you would like to come and meet the cast before tomorrow, because I know that's a big thing. So we went and I met everyone and it was like instant connection. I connected with all of these girls and they're my best friends now. I hang out with them more than probably anyone else besides my family, and they're my best friends and it's amazing. So that's my first story. I met my best friends through this job and it's just, they have the same passions as me and it's just truly amazing and it makes me so happy being around them. Okay, so the first party that I ever went to by myself, it was just me. I went as Elsa, and I do a lot of parties as Elsa or Anna because they're very popular. But I went to this little girl's birthday party, and she was turning 4. That's the most magical age for birthday parties, is for 3 to 6-year-olds. They are the most magical, and it's so fun to just go to their parties. But so I showed up, and it was just her and her sisters, and they had decorated their house like Elsa's ice castle, and it was absolutely beautiful. There was like balloons and sparkles, and it was amazing, amazing. And she just lit up when she answered the door. She was so excited, and she brought me into her living room. And when we do parties, we have scripts, and so we tell our story, we do our songs, we sing our songs, and sometimes the kids like to sing along, and it's truly like magical. And then at the end we do a coronation, and we crown the birthday girl as a true princess and give her a tiara and everything, and it's so fun. So this little girl, I went in and I started to tell my story, and when we sang, she didn't break eye contact the entire party. She was holding my hands and just watching me, and she wouldn't break eye contact. She just sit and watch me with a big grin on her face. And she'd sing all the songs with me, especially Let It Go. Let It Go, she went all emotions, and that was the only time she ever really broke eye contact, which is just like she would close her eyes and just get into it. It was so adorable. And so we did the whole song, and it was absolutely amazing. And I did the coronation, and she was just beaming. And then I had to leave, and I was about to leave, and she goes, "But Mommy, I thought she was gonna play Barbies with us and go to the museum." And it was so cute, and I would have stayed there for hours if I could. Oh my gosh, she was absolutely magical and amazing. My first party, I will never forget it. She was absolutely adorable, and just the way it made me feel, truly magical. So after a few parties I had been to as Elsa and Anna, I got to go as Elsa for 2 birthday parties in a row, one at 11 a.m. and one at 1 p.m. And the first one was Elsa, Rapunzel, and Moana, and then the second one was Elsa and Rapunzel. And so the first party we went, and we all told our stories, and it was absolutely magical. We signed picture frames for the kids, and it was adorable. And then the second party, there was this group of little girls, and they were all dressed up, and it was absolutely amazing. And we played in hide and seek, and they giggled, and it was so fun. And then we were meeting each other and hugging all the girls and signing pictures. And I had my nails painted like this sparkly, light blue sparkliness. Because if I do ever paint my nails for Elsa, I like it to be like a little bit of sparkle, and a little bit of, it looked kind of snowy. And one of the little girls came up to me, and she saw that my nails were sparkly, and then she complimented them. She was like, "Elsa, I love your sparkly fingernails." I was like, "Thank you so much." And then she goes, "Elsa, will you use your powers to make me have sparkly fingernails too?" And it was so cute because she wanted me to paint her fingernails using my magic. And she got distracted, and so she ran off, and so I didn't ever answer her. But I just thought it was so cute how she was just like, "Will you use your ice powers to make my fingernails are sparkly?" It was so, oh my gosh, it was adorable. So another one of my parties, I went as Elsa, and this was the first time I got to go as 5th Spirit Elsa. So this is the first time we had ever gotten the wig, and I had already owned the costume, so I was so excited to go as 5th Spirit Elsa. And I went up, and the little girl was so shy at first. But after a while, it usually is after we sing, "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?" They always open up, and they want to dance, and they want to sing, and it's so adorable. So she heard "Do You Want to Build a Snowman?" and I asked her if she wanted to sing it with me, and she got all excited and was singing. And one of my favorite things to do after a coronation and after I'm about to leave, I thank them for letting me come to their celebration, and then I tell them now that they're an official princess, they're welcome in the kingdom of Arendelle. All they have to do is wear their special crown. And that's one of my favorite things to do because they always light up and they're so excited. So I told her, I knelt down and I said, always remember that you are welcome in the kingdom of Arendelle whenever you want. And she got all excited and was jumping up and down and giggling and so excited, and it was just so cute to see how excited she was to hear that she was welcome in Arendelle. And she's like, okay, I'll come to Arendelle. And she's like, I won't forget my crown. It was absolutely amazing and so adorable. This was a party I got to be Anna, and this was for a Valentine's Day party. It wasn't really a birthday party, but it was a Valentine's Day party. So there were so many little girls, and they had a Valentine's Day tea party. But we were sitting they had two thrones set up for us, which were two chairs next to a balloon arch. And they had us sit down, and we were signing Valentine's Day cards for them. And we have a soundtrack that just plays as we tell our stories, and then when we're sitting down taking pictures or signing cards or whatever, the soundtrack is playing. And while we were sitting there signing, Lost in the Woods started playing. And it's, if you don't know, it's Kristoff singing a love ballad or whatever. And one of the little girls comes up to me, and she's all giggly, and she goes, hey Anna. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, this is your boyfriend, right? I was like, yes, it is. It's Kristoff. And she goes, you love him, don't you? I was like, oh yes, I love him very much. And she goes, you're gonna marry him, right? And I said, yes. And she goes, then how come you don't have the ring on your finger? And at the time, we didn't have an engagement ring to wear. We do now. We now have an engagement ring for Anna to wear. And it was just so funny because she was just like, then how come you're not wearing your engagement ring? And I had to tell her that I had left it in Arendelle so it wouldn't get lost, because Kristoff would be very sad if I had lost our engagement ring. So after that, I told my boss my idea. I was like, we need to get an engagement ring. And we did. And so now Anna, whenever we go to parties, Anna wears her engagement ring. Oh yes, this one's a funny story. So I went to a party as Elsa, and it was the birthday girl and her two sisters and then her cousins. And they were all very shy. They didn't want to sing, they didn't want to dance, they didn't want to play games, they just wanted to listen to my story, and that's it. They were very, very shy. And it's kind of hard because we have, for part of the story, we dance with Olaf to End Summer. And we also play freeze dance. And when we started playing freeze dance, the sister was fine. She just wanted to play along. And when we were they wanted me to sign papers, and the birthday girl's sister asked if I would like a paper signed by her and her sister, and I was like, absolutely, which I have it here in my book. I have their paper that they signed for me, and so that Elsa could take it home to Anna. And then we were walking out and then when I was leaving, they wanted to follow me. And something we do is we park about a block or two away so that the children don't know that we show up in cars. They think we show up with Sven or the Knox or in a carriage. And so if the children follow us, we have to call for Sven. Or in my case, I was calling for the Knox, which is the water horse. And I was calling, and I was like, I don't see him anywhere. He might be scared. I have to go look for him. And their mom kept telling her to come inside. And she was just following me, and she turns and she goes, just steal one of my neighbor's cars. He has a lot. He's kind of a hoarder. And I thought that was so funny, and her mom thought it was so funny, and her mom's like, no, we don't want Elsa to go to jail. And I was like, oh, certainly not. Anna would be very upset if I went to jail. And she's like, I guess that's true, but also you're the queen, so it doesn't matter. It's just the funniest, children say the funniest things when it comes to those things. Another fun, adorable little story about little girls that get all excited and giggly. My favorite is when I'm telling a story and I say something about my prince, and they get all giggly and excited because I'm talking about a handsome prince. And there was a time when I was Aurora, and it was adorable. The birthday girl and a lot of her friends were dressed as Aurora, but she was like blonde hair, had the crown dress. Her dress was Aurora's dress. She looked just like Mini-Me, and it was adorable. And I was telling my story, and she knew everything about Sleeping Beauty. She knew all the little details about like flora, fauna, and Meriwether. She knew everything. And so she was helping me tell the story. And in the story, I'm talking about when Aurora is in the forest and how she meets a handsome stranger. And I don't say straight away that it's Prince Philip. And when I get to that part, when I say I meet a handsome stranger, she giggles and she goes, Aurora, the handsome stranger is Prince Philip. And in the story I had said that I was betrothed to a prince named Prince Philip, but I wanted to marry my handsome stranger. And then that's when she said, Aurora, the handsome stranger is Prince Philip. Which, it was so cute because she just giggled and she was like, oh, Aurora. And I was like, oh, of course, but I didn't know that at the time. And it was really, really cute. And she just helped me through the whole story. And then this other little girl goes, oh, but Aurora, beauty is not only the thing, it's also true love. And then this other story, I went to a birthday party as Belle, and this was my first party as Belle. I absolutely adore being Belle. She is my favorite princess, and every chance I get, I will be her in a heartbeat. I was her 2 times this last week, and it was absolutely amazing, and I adore being Belle. But I went to this little party and this little girl was dressed as Belle. She had her Belle ball gown and it was absolutely adorable. And when we posed for pictures, she posed just like me and it was, oh, she was darling. But we got to the part in my story where I'm telling about Philippe, my horse. And I was saying how Philippe comes back and Papa is not there. And she's saying, Belle, Belle, hey Belle, 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 Belle. Just the whole time. And I'm like, yes. And she goes, you know, I have a horse too, and she's a unicorn, and she's rainbow, and her name is Buttercup. And she was just so serious about her rainbow unicorn named Buttercup, and it was absolutely adorable. And I was like, oh, how wonderful. And every time I mentioned Philippe, she always wanted to say something about Buttercup, her rainbow unicorn. And then just a little while ago, I went to a birthday party for a 1-year-old. And normally that doesn't happen because 1-year-olds are not the type to care because they're 1. But her parents had a birthday party for her and it was Disneyland themed. And it was at a park and they had like totally decorated it like Disney. Like, it was absolutely adorable. Everything, like everyone had Minnie Mouse ears or Mickey Mouse ears. The walkway was like, they had big cards and they were painting the roses red, and it was just like they had a castle thing, and then they had a big Mickey head with her name engraved, and they had the foods, and oh my goodness, it was absolutely magical. I'm jealous of her party. But I was Rapunzel and I showed up and they put the baby on my lap, and the whole time I told the story the baby was on my lap. And she was just so happy. She wanted to play with my braid the whole time, which I let her. She just sat there playing with the flowers and like combing her fingers through my hair. And it was absolutely adorable. And then afterwards, the mother told me that the baby doesn't like people and doesn't like to be around people and doesn't like to be held by people other than her parents. And she said she started crying and said it was absolutely, truly magical because the baby didn't cry and was happy and content being with Rapunzel the whole time, which made my heart so very happy because that's a huge deal. That's so big to me. But at that party, her little cousin, who was 3, she knew everything about Tangled. She had watched the series, and so she knew. She was talking about Fairy and the characters and Eugene and all this stuff. And she was like, she goes, Rapunzel, are you guys sick in your kingdom? I was like, no, why do you ask? And she goes, well, we're sick in this kingdom. There's this thing called the coronavirus, and it's going around. And I was like, oh no, that sounds horrible. And she goes, hey, isn't that the name of your kingdom? And I was like, yes, my kingdom's name is Corona, but we had it first before the virus. She's like, so Corona doesn't have the coronavirus? I was like, no. And the mother's like, her mom goes, your kingdom's name really is Corona? I was like, yes, it is. And she goes, like, for reals, you're not making this up? And I was like, no, my kingdom is the kingdom of Corona. But we had it before the coronavirus, so we're all safe. And the mother just laughed and shrugged it off, and the little girl goes, can I come visit your Corona? I think it's better than our Corona. Absolutely adorable. Oh my goodness. I love children so very much. Okay, my last story was recently. So for this party, there was this little girl and she was absolutely adorable. And there were so many little girls. There was this one little boy and he's blonde and he's blue eyes and he was absolutely adorable and was just like smiling from ear to ear. And his little sister was there and he kept saying his little sister loved princesses, but he wouldn't leave our side because he was our royal guard. And it was absolutely adorable. But there was this one little girl and she was dressed as Rapunzel and she wouldn't leave my side. I was Anna and she wouldn't go near Elsa. She wouldn't talk to Elsa. She would only talk to me and be near me. And after pictures, we were talking to the little kids and she comes up to me, she goes, Anna, Anna, Anna. And I was like, yes. And she goes, Anna, I love you. And it just melted my heart. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, I love you too. Can I have a hug? And she hugged me and it was absolutely adorable. And then a few minutes later, she goes, Anna, Anna, Anna. And I was like, yes. And she goes, will you be my best friend? And I was like, oh my goodness, of course. And I asked her for a hug again because, oh my gosh, her hugs were so amazing. And oh my goodness, she was adorable. And I was like, of course I can, of course, can I get a hug? And just the whole time, just every once in a while, she'd say, Anna, 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 I love you. Anna, 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 I love you. And it was just, oh my goodness, so adorable. And then we were taking pictures before we left and this one little boy, this little redhead, and he was dressed as Spider-Man and he turned bright red when we started talking to him. It was absolutely darling and we were like, are you a superhero? And he was just grinning from ear to ear. So happy that the princesses were talking to him and it was absolutely adorable. He was like blushing like crazy and just red as red can be. And it was absolutely adorable. So those are some of my favorite party princess stories that happened to me. Like I said, this job is the best thing that ever happened to me. And these kids make my world so much better and they bring me so much joy. I know our jobs is to bring them joy, but they don't know how much impact they have on me. And just their stories, being able to write them down makes me so happy. And being able to read back on them makes me very, very happy. And oh my gosh, it just makes my day. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And let me know in the comments what other videos you want me to see, either involving Party Princess or not involving Party Princess. I'd love to hear your ideas. I love you guys and always remember that you are worth it and make your dreams a reality. Bye guys!